Next in the dance on DBS Radio, another lovely day, a lovely Saturday in the nature island of Dominica. If you're ready and you know it, fasten your seatbelts. It is time for this exciting Saturday morning program. One of those days we'll have 4 hours, I tell you. Yeah, man. Another CTD flight. A lovely Saturday, a gentle breeze is blowing and all is well. My guests are in studio. Who is via Zoom on Zoom. We are now flying over Greenal City. Greens Lane and Canal Lane. The people of Goodwill, bonjour. CTD family, what's going on here? It's Nigel, no boy. After 3 weeks back to back on CTD laughing out loud and being unprofessional, the CTD director has spoken to Nigel and I asked us to keep cool. Nigel, come a while.
Hey, what's up?
Well, I there with Nigel. What about you? After
I'm there in the cold, but I'm good.
Man, Nigel, after that meeting the last week, me I behaving myself way more.
Well, we will try. Yes, we will try to do that.
Yes,
but you never know what might happen.
You never know, man. And after that hot calypso discussion there,
but after that
Nigel,
meeting there, you. Yes, we have to make a turnaround.
A turnaround, complete turnaround.
Yes.
So we are behaving ourselves. Yes, we have big people in that house there today, and myself,
You see, I almost started a while ago.
Yeah, Papa. Well, I promise not to laugh or giggle or hookly. That's what's hookly.
You said hookly?
Yes, I said hookly. What's hookly?
Hookly is
I don't know. No. Gloria Lioness Walsh introduced me to that word hookly. I don't know.
Hookly,
I think it's like when you erupted in laughter or something like that. Like you hail in and you demate. But we have some words within that. Boy, tell you that Creole vernacular. Yes, I.
It is so beautiful. It is one of those that you cannot, There's some words in there and some phrases you just have to enjoy it, man, because you can't explain.
Yes, not to beat up yourself.
And you can't translate it either, You just have to leave it alone.
Just leave it alone, man. You can't go and beat up yourself about that, That's a common
one. Hook lady has it,
We on the Nigel?
Yes.
We on the?
And you just... We on the?
I don't know. Check the vibes now. Yes, we on the. While looking low there, I'll heiss up my chair.
We on. But we bring down your chair, man.
Man, I'm not standing again now, myself. So I'm bringing up that chair there. I sit in, Papa. My Papa.
So let me see if you're on. Oh, so you're on the book, but you're not on the Zoom. Okay.
You serious?
So I have to look at the book to see you. Okay.
Right. Okay. On the book. But Nigel looking pretty, man.
But you're not on this. So
you're looking pretty. You see, you're not listening to me. Looking pretty. You're nice green. What color is this really? Is it green?
Yes, it's a beautiful lime green. It's a wonderful lime green. The president actually suggested that I use lime green today. I don't know why.
Okay, well, I did not get any house rules as to what color I should wear. I should come in green too, man.
Well, you should have come in green.
Because it's Greenal. But for them, unfortunately for them, because of our green screen, and we have to learn we know how to manipulate it. It is difficult for them to wear green. But I know they have lovely T-shirts, and they will tell us about it, obviously.
Yes, they will let us know about that,
So we haven't got much.
How was the week for you, though?
Yeah, it was good. Man, too busy with youngsters. Youngsters have me on my toes, man, Nigel.
Well,
seriously, man. No, seriously. Nigel, from early morning,
running around.
From early morning to late at night. Yeah, youngsters has me on my toes, and man, well, ass. But we'll talk about that the next time. We don't have much time because we want to, bring on our guests very early. Let me just say good morning to last week's guest, Nigel Trendsetter. Nigel, what's going on here?
What's going on there? I guess you must check in the comments box. But yes, trendsetters seem to have started a trend. So trendsetter, good morning to you. Glad to know you're safe and sound and all is working well. You know, it's good to know that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
good morning to you, Trendsetter, and I hope you've got up already and do what you normally do early in the mornings.
Sure, sure. Let's also shout out Nigel Theala Forgatson. You know, big things, brand destination brand ambassador, and let's also shout out Rihanna Patterson, who received a scholarship, I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, to
at the
pursue a doctorate
right at
there
the UK
in
University. So yes, yeah,
dementia,
yeah,
dementia studies.
yes,
So,
that's it.
you know, good things are happening, great things are happening. It's always good to mention that. You know, unfortunately, we can't mention great things for the West Indies team, but hopefully they can bounce back. They seem to
Yes,
have done well in the bowling.
and yes, yes, yes. I
So
think by
hopefully they
9
can spin their way
runs they
back
would have
into
won
this
against
match, into the
Pakistan.
second
Yes,
test
yes.
match.
So let's see what
Great
happens.
things are going on, yes, you
Yes,
know.
big things, yes. So we're not talking a lot today, as I say, because we have many people in the house today, Nigel. And you know they have a kind of money man when they're from Goodwill. It's like they are from the best place ever, you know, all of that. So let's get ready
They
for
think
all
they're
of
running
that,
things.
like
That's
they're running
okay.
things, you know.
Yes,
But you know, Goodwill is a word in the Bible as well. So
we'll see what happens with them.
yes,
We'll see
yeah.
what happens with them in a little bit,
Yes,
you know.
Goodwill can be found in the Bible, so probably that's why they think that, you know, they, I don't know. Anyway, so let us check the book and bring them on. Gordon Henderson, bonjour, bonjour. He's there. A lot of people are there already, man. Like, what? Good, you
Yes,
like
yes,
doing that,
yes. The book
man?
is pretty busy.
A joke,
I
that
just saw
man.
that you
Eh,
know, our
eh.
guest of last week just joined us. Good morning to you, Trendsetter.
Yeah,
I hope
man. So,
getting
boy.
ready for next week's
Yeah,
quarterfinals. You
yeah.
know, we wish you all the best. You know, Fitzroy, good morning to you. Hey, Fitzy, good morning. What Trendsetter want to tell us there already now. Good morning. I am alive and kicking
Kicking
and
and keep.
peeping. Thanks for having me last week.
If you think you can let me laugh there today, you lie.
Trent said that we were giving instructions. We can't laugh too much today.
Yes.
Yes, but
Yes.
youngster, how you can give us those kind of instructions? I'm going to laugh, man, youngster.
Yes, we have to laugh, of course.
Alicia Griffith, good morning to you. Yes, yes.
But
Carol, good
Nigel,
morning.
tell
And Tony
Alice.
Doctor, I'm sure he's
Nigel,
watching and listening. Good morning
Nigel,
to
let me
you.
cut you for a while. Tell Alicia Griffith for me, Supley, and some of the other people I have their names on my list. They need to collect. They need to collect their wine. Nigel.
Alicia, go and
So I still have about 13
Otherwise,
bottles.
we will distribute it. We will give it to somebody else.
We still have about 13 bottles, and people have to collect them. Else, I'm okay. Boy.
Please go and collect your bottles of wine. Those of you who won, you know, with us on the seat of the train last time. So go get your wine. If not, listen, if they don't come for it, save a bottle for me for when I come down next month.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. All right.
All
so
right. Jules, Jules, also good morning to you. So lots of people saying good morning to you. I think what we will do is say the prayer and then
but quickly,
and then
quickly, in just about 2 minutes, let us just of course we have checked the book. We'll go back. Dominica Corner, it's my turn, right? Just a quick thing on Goodwill.
Your turn. Yes, your turn.
Okay, so what year did Coney Island first come to Dominica, and where was it? What was the venue, the location for that event? So that's a very simple question.
I find for your first question, you gave me a hard question. Right?
Yes.
But Coney Island, yes. I know it was Lindo Park, right? Yeah, it was Lindo Park.
So where's Lindo Park?
Lindo Park. What year?
Where is Lindo Park? You have to say the main word, Nigel.
Mommy, I want to go Coney Island. Yes, so let's see. That would probably have to be like
I don't know. Myself, I asked that. I don't know. Seriously,
in the 80s or something.
In the 80s, for sure. In the 80s,
80 something or 90 something.
I was a spring chicken back then. Yes, I was a spring chicken back then. I was a teenager back then, so I remember that winning teddy bears and a lot of mugs and things like that.
So you had go Coney Island.
But of course, Nigeria, I went on the Ferris wheel and all of that. Okay. So that was Goodwill. So a big shout out to Goodwill for that. A big clap to Goodwill. Another one about Goodwill. Them 5 sports teams. From Goodwill, both present or past, just five.
5 sports teams from Goodwill. Let's see.
It could be basketball.
Of course, Saints will always be the first one that will come to mind, you know. So you have Saints, you have what's this team they had there with these guys, man? Hold on. Well, I mean, it's not really Goodwill, so I can't say Potters because it's already Pottersville, but so I'll kind of leave that out.
Okay.
Another team from Goodwill. I don't want to say what's their name? They had the same Greenal thing, you know. They had a name they used to call that team. They used to play pretty well. What's the name of the team, man? Shoot.
I don't know now. Anyway, there's basketball as well. Tough. So any basketball team that can come to mind? We had Tilly. Remember we had Tilly on our program, but Nigel ain't me, man. Nigel, we had Tilly once, and he named some teams. Remember, like pros in
Yes,
basketball.
yes. Tilly had given us some names, man.
Nigel, you fail. I'll bring them on, and they'll answer.
I feel that one way.
Let me ask you.
One, yes.
Okay. Name 5 prolific sports personalities from Goodwill. That is easy.
Well, I mean,
easy peasy lemon squeezy.
I mean, you must mention the president. You know what I mean? Mr. Billy Doctorough, definitely.
Okay.
You have to mention, Thomas Kentish Yaga, definitely.
That's my boy.
Another prominent from that community. I mean, he was prominent in his days, at one point in time. So let's see. Should I go for cricketer or footballer? Let's see.
Let me see if anybody's helping you on the live there. Yeah?
I mean, there are quite a few. I mean, who played for the national team. You have people like Irvin Williams, Tosh. You had Bibbs, was a great goalkeeper. Let's see. Another prominent sports personality from the Goodwill community. But I give one. You just have me alone.
But it's my turn to ask questions. But what is that for me, dear? Anyway, Papa.
Let's see. Maybe we should do a basketballer. Let me see if I can find a basketballer from Goodwill. Famous basketballer.
Me and not calling no names. I ask questions.
Just in case.
Yes. Anyway, Nigeria, we'll get back to that. Let's pray and bring on the guests. Let's pray. Let's bring on the guests. You have the prayer, right? You have the prayer close? Let me see if I get the prayer. You have it?
Yes. Heavenly Father, creator of mankind and the universe, we thank thee for the gift of life today and all the blessings you continue to bestow on your children. We seek your presence and intervention throughout this program, and we ask that you keep us connected always. We also pray for the success of the program, its coordinators and listeners, that they may find purpose and enjoy what we share. Bless our radio station and the nation. May we grow to love and unite with each other, irrespective of our differences. All this we ask in your name, now and forever. Amen and amen.
Okay, so we're going to bring on our guest.
Yes, you're going to bring on the guest. Thank you, Smokey. Cadmus. Yes, Cadmus was a great footballer too, Cadmus Philip.
Okay, I'm good.
Yes.
Right. So,
Algan and Lawrence. Winnie Green tell me Algan and Lawrence. Thank you, Winnie Green. Jennifer Wallace. Somebody may say Jennifer Wallace, netball. So a few names are coming through, I don't know if Alice was from Goodwill too, Alice was Alice's last name? Alice
John Jules?
Again. Alice, yes, Jules, yes. Sports personality.
I think Josette used to play some netball too, or something. I'm not sure if she was prolific, but we'll find out.
I love a nice remark there from Gordon Henderson. Gordon Henderson, good morning to you. He says, let's see. He says, our host queen could not have been a teenager when Coney Island first came to Lindo Park. Because I was a teenager myself.
What? So it was not around 1980s.
Of course, Gordon. Yes.
Anyway, we'll see. I'll do my math again because me no strong.
Yes, do your math. By the way, Gordon, we have to connect on something that the project we need you and a couple guys to work on for us for the SME project.
Oh, whatever.
So, Gordon, keep that in mind.
You have to just mention SME.
Jacinta Barnes, good morning. Of course, the Alvin Thomas. Good morning to you. He wants to mention that Bull and Scobie Lawrence. You can't forget them from Goodwill.
Okay, all right.
So today's Goodwill Day, man. Today's Goodwill and Greenal's Day. So we'll find out about that. So good morning to all of you. Yes.
So, but as we bring on our guest, Nigel, let me just be quick to say that I admire what the group is doing. It's always good when people can come together, bounce ideas, and decide to form a reunion because the benefits of a reunion or what it should be really, to keep the legacy of your community alive, to close that gap between the youth and the elderly, to bridge this thing. To seek to reinforce ties, to strengthen bonds, it's a remarkable achievement, and when you realize that young people can learn a lot about the community that they are in, we have to say hats off to the people who are on with us and the other members of the committee as well. So let us bring them on. Good morning to all. Good morning, ladies first.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. So Nigel, what next? We need introductions, right?
Well, we're not seeing them.
You're not seeing them? What?
No.
Somebody fix that.
You and I.
Me still the voice. Yes, sir. Let me see what I can work on. Magic I can work there because I know I have a technician working with me.
Yes. Dean, fix that.
Yeah, let's fix that. We have two lovely ladies, a mother and daughter, and they look like sisters. So when they come on, you will tell me if I'm wrong. They look like sisters. Yes. And yes, you see
but
them.
Good morning to them, though. Good morning. Why you try to fix that? Good morning to you guys. Welcome to Connecting the Dots. It's nice to connect with you on a Saturday. We're going to find out about your journey and all what's going to be happening for this particular reunion.
Okay,
and what we can expect.
You see them, Nigel? I'm trying something.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you do well.
I'm not bad, man.
You do well. You
okay. All right. Yes.
You can have them looking, also pretty and handsome, and then you can't see them. So it's lovely that we can now see all of them. Good morning to you, wonderful guests.
Good morning.
We'll find out about them in a little bit.
All right, so who are you? Let's start with Josette.
You want to start with the ladies first?
Yes, let's start with Josette. Josette is people, DBS people. Josette is at home, well comfortable. So let's go with you, Josette.
Yes. Normally she's on the other side of the studio, in the other studio.
Yes.
See her in the studio instead, yes.
Yeah, man.
Hi, Nigel. Good morning to you and also to Ivona and all our listeners. My name is Josette Seraphine Hetrington, and I'm the Public Relations Officer for the Greenal City Reunion 2025.
All right,
Josette song is very formal and thing there. You come there, PRO, you make sure that
you better behave yourself.
She's anyway. Let's not forget we had instructions to behave ourselves. So I behave myself. But yes, good morning, Joseph. It's nice to have you, man. Nice to connect. We'll find out about all that reunion and what's happening in Greenal. And next to you, we have, go ahead, my dear.
Yes, good morning. I'm Natasha Henderson, and I'm the chairperson of the Greenal City Reunion 2025. And before we go any further, I would just like to give a little heads up to our listeners. We, the Greenal City Reunion, we will be organizing a history trivia, which is basically 20 questions in 20 days, starting from the 1st of February. And the reason why I'm announcing that before I say anything else, I would like to give our listeners a little lead today and let you know that a lot of the history answers, the answers to the trivia, will be revealed in some of the conversation that we're having this morning. So I just want you to know, take your notes, listen up to the history, and be ready to win a trip to Guadeloupe or Martinique as part of our Greenal City Reunion trivia, history trivia, 20 questions in 20 days. So, as I said, I'm Natasha, and let me allow our other colleague to present himself, and then we'll come back to give you more details on our grand Greenal reunion.
Yes, good morning all. It's a pleasure to be here in the studios of DBS promoting our reunion activities. I'm Washburn Nicholas Coffey. I'm the secretary of the Greenal Upliftment Group or Foundation, and it is a pleasure for me to serve that foundation in terms of contributing to a what I consider very important and unique community project. So I'm happy to be here, and I want to say thank you to Ivona and thank you to my friend Nigel. Glad to see you. Connecting the dots, Nigel. Thank you very much.
All right, okay. Nigel, there's a family tie here, and we need to talk about that, because that will show you how or give you a clearer indication as to how this reunion came about. And, two people were integrally involved in all of this. So, Josette, tell us about this family connection before we even move on and ask you about the reunion and how the idea was born.
But you forget one of the other guests before you move on.
Oh, we have another guest. Oh, how can I forget? My good friend.
Next thing, the guests call youngster, and next thing
I'm in trouble.
Because the guest there youngster, he wasn't introduced.
Okay.
And next thing, connecting the dots, disappear.
How can we connect without Billy? Billy, doctor. Good morning to you.
Guest there.
Good morning, Billy.
Yeah, good morning, Ivona and Nigel. I want to say good morning to my colleagues of the Greenal Upliftment Foundation and the reunion, Josette, Natasha, and Washburn, and all your listeners and viewers. I'm Billy Doctorow, and I'm the treasurer of the organization. It's a pleasure to be on the program, and we have been looking forward to this opportunity for a while, so that we could really inform and make our listeners and viewers more aware of what's going on. It's a unique activity, a unique program, and we are very proud to be associated with this.
Okay.
So again, good morning.
All right. Good morning. Pleasure to have you on. Okay, so let's just get to it. Joseph, just tell us a little about yourself, who you are, and I want you to bring out that connection as well with Natasha.
Well, I lived in Greens Lane. I think we went the first, it was between the 50s and the 60s. So late 50s and early 60s. And, well, I've been there for a lot of times. What else I want me to do? Well, I work with DBS Radio, of course, and in my younger days, and I'm still here. And being there in Greens Lane, it's very different from how it is now, because we had a lot of young people, children. Right now, we don't see that. It's more of adults. And in the times, one of the things I liked, when the rain started to fall, I can remember I was even 12 years old when I was running under the rain. But you don't see children do these things. So that's about all it is. My brother, my mother, that is father, and that's where we. No, with Natasha then, when she was born in Greens Lane.
So Natasha is your daughter. That's
yes.
what I want you to say. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so Natasha, just tell us a little about your connection to Goodwill as well.
Okay, to give you a little bit of my connection to Goodwill, I consider myself, I would say, the poster child of Greenal City, because not only 4 generations of my family have resided in Greens Lane, my grandparents from the late 50s, my mother, myself, born and raised there up to the age of 16 when I moved to France. And interestingly, I had the opportunity to come back to Dominica with my children to spend a few years in Greenal as well. And my children might just be the last of those who had the opportunity before the tablets and the devices took over to run freely in Greenal, in Canal Lane, chasing chicken and so on. So, I'm really proud of that area. And interestingly, again, it's just not one side of the family, but both sides of the family, because some people might not know, but my father, Gordon Henderson, also resided in Greens Lane for a period of time, and then also moved on to Church Lane, which is an extension of Canal Lane. I would like to also respond to one of the main questions that we see online. People are asking what exactly is Greenal. So if you don't mind, I'd like the opportunity to just explain to them what Greenal represents and why this reunion is really significant. Greenal is basically a combination of 2 lanes in Goodwill, Greens Lane and Canal Lane. Billy will tell us a little bit more of how the name Greenal came together. It's not something that we are just putting in right now because of the reunion. It's very significant, the term Greenal. And Greenal, as an area in Goodwill, is quite significant in the history of Dominica from a geopolitical point of view, as well as in terms of the individuals who hail from Greenal. Because I dare say, and I guess one of the listeners could challenge me on that, I would say that Greenal is the area in Dominica that has the highest rate of success per capita. Because Greenal is an area in one street where you find a former prime minister, an elite international cricket umpire with other accolades, an international legend, a renowned scientist, broadcasters, PhDs, a renowned Dominican priest, educators, broadcasters, calypsonians, junior monarchs, etc. It is not a coincidence that we have such a success rate in Greenal. It's really actually a testimony of what happens when a village, a community come together to empower the youth and support their own. And that's the reason for this reunion. We'd like to bring that back, bring back that energy, that type of community spirit. And that is why it's a privilege to be on this committee with individuals who have been there from as far as the 1950s to bring this project forward. And I just want to shout out the other members of the committee who are listening. Burke, who is Edgar Jerome Sr., based in Florida, Alan G. Sorrento, who is based in Curacao, and Brian Hamilton, who is based in Antigua.
Oh, yes, we went to school together.
Right. And Brian spent his childhood and, in Greenal, on Greens Lane, and he himself being a former junior and senior national player for both cricket and football. Now, as I mentioned, in terms of the geopolitical landmark of Greenal City, some may not know that back in the late 50s, when the government of the day decided to develop the Goodwill area as a residential community, as the hospital was being built, the Federation Drive, the main road in Goodwill, was developed in the late 50s, named after the West Indies Federation, of the 50s, the short-lived West Indies Federation. And when Federation Drive was built, the first lane that was cut across Federation Drive was Greens Lane. Greens Lane is the lane that is right above Bullseye Pharmacy, to the south, going all the way to the Riverside, apartments, and to the north, going all the way behind the St. Alphonsus Catholic Church. So Greenal is very significant in Dominica, and as we continue our program this morning, you will learn much more about Greenal City and what we're all about.
Wow, there's a reason why you are the chairperson of this committee. Yes, I love this. I love this. And let me just say again, although she mentioned it, Natasha is the daughter of Joseph Seraphin Hedrington, and also her father is Papa Creole Gordon Henderson. So I just had to emphasize that as well. Billy Doctrove, tell us, where do you fit in? I know you're a Goodwill person. How strong are your ties to Goodwill?
The idea, the name, and so.
Billy, yes, I'm Billy. How strong are your ties to Goodwill?
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, very, very, very strong. My parents, well, my father's from Roseau, Newtown, and he met my mother in La Plaine. My father was a policeman, my mother was a teacher, and they got married in La Plaine. They were transferred to Vickers. Then they were transferred to Marigot, and then we came down from Marigot in 1959. And from since then, we lived right in the corner of Greens Lane and Federation Drive. So that is where I've been there from 4 years old. And I grew up in Greens Lane with all my boyhood friends, like Washburn Coffee, who's on the program himself today, Andy Carter, John, and Robertson Riviere. All those guys, Alan Chi, all those guys in Greens Lane. And we were a very close-knit family. Somebody mentioned earlier that Goodwill people seem to believe they are the best, but remember, the Lord said peace to the men of Goodwill, and we extend that peace to the rest of Dominica, to the rest of the world, but in particular, residents of Greens Lane and Greenal Lane, and that term Greenal was coined by quite a few persons, but some of the probably the major person involved in that was Andy Carter. He was a prominent person in Greens Lane, and we wanted to combine because it was basically to do with sports. Because we were always involved in sports in a very young age. We grew up playing sports on the streets of Greens Lane and Canal Lane. In those days, as our chairperson said, Goodwill was just beginning to develop as a residential area to serve basically Roseau. And we were playing a lot of sports in the streets, because in those days, when one car passed, you had to wait for another 20 minutes or 25 minutes to see another car pass. The traffic was very slow, so we could have our will playing sports on the streets. We had a few little areas, a few little small parks in the area where we used to play, but we played a lot of our sports on the streets because, as I said, no traffic. So we developed that phrase, that coined that phrase. We joined Greenal, Greens Lane, and Canal Lane, and we combined it to become Greenal. And we really stayed together. As our chairperson said, when you go through Greens Lane and Canal Lane, Greenal, you'll be surprised of the kind of personnel that have come from there. We have produced a great number of prominent persons in our society, and we always stayed as one. And when we played sports, we played as people from Greens Lane and Canal Lane. And then from then, we had places like Dallas, we had places like Murphy's Lane, we had places like MJB in Goodwill, and Goodwill formed, Goodwill became formal and developed a sports group and sports activities in Goodwill. Greenal was always part of it, and we were prominent. We were not the strongest team, but we were always there. We were always there competing, and we won. I can never forget. We won the knockout cup in Goodwill against all the odds, because the other guys had big names like Edward Francis, like Desmond Fontaine, and Tosh Williams, and all those other Williams in Dallas. But we stayed together, and we got our teams together, and we really developed. So we really stayed together, and it's always we're always saying that we need a reunion to bring back all people together, because we haven't met some of our members for a long while. So this year we are looking forward for the opportunity to bring back our members together under one umbrella and have a reunion, and to recognize the success that we have had as a street or two streets in Goodwill, very prominent people. And we're really happy to be part of this committee to organize. And it was tough at the beginning, but as you said, you heard Natasha speak, and Natasha has been a leader, a prominent person within the committee. And I want to say, if it was not for Natasha, I don't think we'd have had that reunion. But she has worked hard, she has been committed, she has been resilient, and we just want to thank her for her leadership. And we're looking forward to a successful reunion in the next few weeks.
Yeah, that's Natasha, no nonsense person, a very good writer as well. But Washburn Coffee, your allegiance is to the Southeast. Where does Goodwill coming out of this? Tell us about that connection.
Yeah, well, first of all, before I go there, let me pay tribute to all our ancestors who occupied the Greenal space over the years, who have given us the opportunity to be present here and to be able to be involved in such a community project. With regards to your question, my father, Augustine Coffee, actually hailed from the village of Rivière-Syriac. He was a prominent farmer and involved in agricultural marketing. He worked as a manager for the marketing board at the time. He was responsible for all the marketing of produce in the La Plaine Southeast area. So my father hailed from Rivière-Syriac, and my mother came from the West Coast village of Coolibistry. I will not discuss the details too much of how they met, but my father was in Curacao. My father made quite a bit of his life in Curacao in the 40s. And in returning to Dominica, he was given a message by a good friend of his, the Toulons from Coolibistry in Lagumbi. And in dropping that message to Coolibistry, that is where he eyed my wife, my mother.
Your queen, yeah.
And my mother told me she was invited by him to visit Rivière-Syriac. But in those days, they had to walk through the Lake Road, through Loda and through Grand Fond to get to Rivière-Syriac. So when she went there and spent whatever time, maybe a week up there with him, she told him, well, if you want to marry me, you're going to have a home closer to where you can meet me. I'm not going to walk up to Lodan, to Grand Fort to get to River Zurich.
And for the Shime later trail would have made that easier.
Yeah, so, well, that is where they walk through the Shime later trail. But so that prompted my father to purchase a lot in Goodwill in Greenal, and that is where they built their home in the 1956-57. So when I was born, my mother told me they rented just behind Billy Doctrove's parents' home. That is where they lived. I was a toddler then, but having completed their home, we moved into Greenal. So I actually lived. So while I have the connections to the east in terms of River Zurich, and I must say, since I became a voter as an adult, I am registered in River Zurich, and this is the linkage with River Zurich. My father had a lot of land. We always used to be on the farm helping during holidays and so forth. And we continue to have that linkage with the Eastern District. But in terms of Greenal, we as sports guys, we had to have a name for our team. So it was easy to coin Greens Lane and Canal Lane and to mention it as Greenal. But the guys who were instrumental in the naming included Andy Carter, Stalin Williams, who we call Choco, and Earl Dorival. These were the guys who coined the name Greenal. And during that time, when we were in secondary school and so on, we actually painted the name of the area. The walls by my parents on Federation Drive, we had a big Greenal painted sign there. And when you came up into Canal Lane, the little wall where Deborah Gage and her family lived, that is where Ronna Riley and her parents lived. On that wall there, we also had a big painting. In fact, a lot of our guys had artistic skills, so they were able to paint the area. And during that time, as Billy indicated, we were very involved in sports, and Goodwill was a very important locality in relation to sports. You had the Saint Sports Club that was a very dominable team, both in cricket and in football. And so we had the occasion to organize off-seasons in Goodwill. So we actually named our football team the Greenal Lions. So this was the genesis of Greenal and the name Greenal Lions, and henceforth Greenal City.
Okay. Nigel, by the way, so we have had a lot of guests from Goodwill on our program already, and that name Greenal, of course, not just with Andy Carter when he was a guest, but we have heard that name a lot of times from the guests that we have had in the past, so that's good. But I just want to say quickly though, Washburn Coffee, of course, you have your River Zurich connections. Nigel, I'm sure you would have learned of the death of Mr. Farmer as well.
Yes.
So I just want to bring this in.
Yes. That's a cousin that's our family, very closely knitted. Mr. Farmer, also a very close friend of mine. I'm very
was like a broadcaster on DBS Radio.
Yeah. In fact, Yvonne, I remember the days when he couldn't make it to town, and he would say, Washburn, could you drop a box of stuff for me for my DBS people? And I would just come and drop the box, and everything was arranged. Yvonne has a share, Curtis has his share, maybe Nigel, you got your share as well. You know, so that was Mr. Farmer, very formidable farmer.
Yeah.
And he also, what I want to say is that for many years, he was the top in terms of quality in the whole Windward Islands.
He contributed immensely to the development of the agricultural sector, not just here, but in the region as well. But anyway, let's talk about Greenal now. Greenal. So where was that idea born to have a reunion? Were you at a session and you all were brainstorming, or you just decided to call people and say, let's do this? What happened?
Well, what happened is that a couple years prior to the hurricane, one of our stalwarts, Earl Dorival, they lived in Greens Lane, but then towards the end, he was in his father's home in Pottersville. So when he passed away, we had a little drink up, a little food, I made a big broth. And, we congregated just by Josette's home. In fact, it was an open air thing. We had a table, and then we had a nice little, what you would call after...
Happy hour.
Happy hour, that was our happy hour. And during the discussion there, I think it was Andy Carter who indicated, man, we really need to maybe have something bigger than that, in the form of a reunion. Maybe where we can bring all the past persons, because you see, as was said by Natasha, because of where we were situated and the proximity to the schools, to the Roseau, to the church, to the market, a lot of people, not just the original people who inhabited Greens Lane, but a lot of people who came from the countryside to work in Roseau, find Greens Lane, Canal Lane, those areas around there was a very suitable area. So a lot of people inhabited there. So it was felt that we should do something where we can bring that history and everything together. So that is where that idea for a reunion was born. And Andy Carter gave some flesh to it while he was in Barbados at a certain time. And then in 2016, I was on holidays in the States and in Florida, Fort Lauderdale to be precise. And I met our international secretary, Edgar Bergeron. And then we got together and knocked heads on the idea, and we tried to put some flesh to the idea in terms of what could resemble a program that we would like to implement. But soon after came Hurricane Maria, and there was COVID and so on, and that interrupted and posed challenges to meeting and developing the idea. But I think a few years ago, we were able to discuss it. We were able to identify human resource capacity in persons like Natasha and Josette. So we were able to form a committee and to proceed. And this is where we have journeyed to this point in time. So it's really an idea going back well over 10 years ago. And the way it came about through the death of one of our stalwarts, it was, it was significant for us. Okay. So this is where we are, and we are glad that we can do something. And it's not just Greens Lane, Canal Lane. I mean, Greens Lane, Canal Lane is just a subset of the wider Goodwill area. And, usually reunions are related to communities,
because I wanted to bring that up as
and
well.
And so on,
that you're on it.
Right.
So what's your views on that, though, Natasha? Because I wanted to bring that up as well. Because Goodwill is a very large place. You have how many gaps, you have how many lanes, and other places as well in Goodwill, that entire Goodwill. So in reference to the Greenal reunion,
right.
Let's tie this in.
Right. So my mic is on?
Yes, of course.
Yes, all right. So in terms of the Greenal concept, we have added to that the idea of Friends of Greenal. What we are really celebrating and embracing is the Greenal reunion, Friends of Greenal reunion. And I'm glad that I think it's Billy who mentioned Murphy's Lane, and as Washby was stating, calling some of the names like the Kentish and the people from Solomon Lane and so on. As you might know, there's a little green space at the base of Canal Lane and Federation Drive. It appears very small these days, but back in the day when there was no Lindo Park and Pottersville Savannah, that is where all the youngsters of goodwill came together to play games and, practice music and so on. And because of that, we have identified a number of individuals who are connected to Greenal through that area where they recreated, and they are all invited to be a part of it. For example, we have persons like Styla Rock, who is not born, raised in Greenal, but who is a great friend of Greenal, and who in fact will be coming to Dominica from Martinique to be part of the Greenal celebration. So we do embrace the idea of friends of Greenal City. Now, to add to what Washby was saying concerning how we came about with this group, from my point, I've been hearing about it like for the past 8 to 10 years. Every now and then I would meet someone who'd say, Natasha, we're trying to do that, come on board. And and I'd be hearing some names here and there, and I felt like it might not necessarily be of my generation, and I was not really. But then when Josette got involved and she told me, you remember this person? You remember that person? I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So it's about a year and a half ago that we really got together as a group of individuals from Greenal. We held a first meeting, and we started kind of, giving shape to the idea and the project of having a reunion. And we established the committee, and I think it was Billy who first nominated me to be chairperson of the committee, and with the support of the others. And we decided to work on the Greenal City reunion. But as we were going along with the idea, we drew up a list of over 400 individuals who we could remember. A lot of our first sessions were just chatting, reminiscing, calling names, listing people. You remember so-and-so, remember that one, where's this one, where's that one, putting it together. And as we gave shape to the idea and the project, we realized that this is something we want to do now, a reunion, but there's so much more that we'd like to do. And hence came the idea of setting up a foundation, which we call the Greenal City Upliftment Foundation. And we, the members of the committee, are the first executive directors of this foundation. And in collaboration with the support of one of our Greenal members, who is the lawyer Duncan Stowe, who agreed to come on board with us to assist us in establishing that foundation from the legal point of view. Our foundation is being the works, the process is on, so that will be officially launched as the Greenal City Foundation. And this reunion is just the pilot project, and we have a lot more projects in place for the upliftment of our community, Greenal, as well as by extension the wider goodwill community.
Wow, Nigel, I feel so.
Let me just tell you guys in terms of what's going on the book here and the fights that's going on right now, because
I can imagine.
You have people from McIntyre Lane that's saying, hey, we were part of that too. Solomon Lane saying,
you're welcome.
Juppini Lane saying, so what about us? We contribute to. So it look like all you create a whole problem right now for all yourself, because look, this person say, so McIntyre Lane is not a friend to them. See trouble?
Yes.
So Greenal, I'm not sure how you guys are going to deal with that in terms of, having the other lanes feel part of this process, or is it just Greens Lane and Canal Lane, but the others can come in? What is the connection?
Yes, Billy.
Friends of Greenal, welcome. Go ahead, Billy.
Yes, Billy, what you take on that?
I don't want to say that whilst we have to focus on the Greens Lane and Canal Lane area, because that is basically the focus, Greenal. We, as Natasha was saying, we have extended the invitation to the wider Goodwill area, and we're not going to ostracize anybody. But the initial, because as Natasha said, this is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and we want to focus. We want to run a good reunion for our Greenal area, but in future, in extension, we will incorporate the other areas of Goodwill. But we have to understand that the Greenal area will always be the focus. But we have had persons, and we have called some names in the wider good community who have been very close to us, and we incorporate and embrace them with whatever in whatever way that they want to contribute, or whatever way that they want to not only contribute, but they can also participate in our reunion. But the reunion, we have to focus on something,
yes,
at some area, and the focus is on Greenal. But we will always embrace the entire good area, and anybody who wants to be part of the reunion is always welcome.
All right. So all you that will making noise, all you're welcome. All right.
Right.
So in terms of Greenal, though, for those who don't know, you mentioned earlier Billy and Washby and Josette to a certain extent. The sports that was going on there. Were you guys stronger as a football team, as a cricket team, as a netball team, or were you just dominant in everything?
Yeah, well, if I am to comment on that, I think football was our major preoccupation, to the extent that there was an organized off-season league in the Goodwill area, and there were many teams. In fact, there was an earlier question by Ivona about teams in the Goodwill area. You had Alcyons, and you had the upper Goodwill guys with Scobie and Bull and those guys, and then you had MJB Stars, you had Dallas City, you had, even on a more formal thing, you had the Zebians and all those things. But as Billy indicated, while we were not the strongest in terms of on paper, but we were a threat to many of the teams, and anytime they were coming to play Greenal, they would put their best foot forward. But the best we had in terms of the competition was when we won a game, a knockout cup. If I remember, there was Exodus, there was a group in the US with Chinese, and those guys had since migrated to the US, Chinese and people like Irving Guy, and those guys actually funded that league. So we actually received a cup, and I recall I never knew I had a good left foot when I actually laced a ball on Dallas with my left foot. And that was part of our contribution to winning that cup.
Interesting.
In cricket, we were very active in cricket, but we played our cricket. Sometimes we went to Pottersville. Cricket used to be big. You go there on a Sunday morning, and if you don't arrive early after children mass in church, you could hardly get a pick. There were so many guys to pick from. And we played, with Saints, we practiced in Lindo Park. And there we played a lot of cricket as well. But cricket, we played for other teams other than Greenal. We didn't have we had a Greenal cricket team that played little pig games and so on against Murphy's Lane, against Jeffers Lane and so on. But we were not into an organized program as we had in cricket. And some of our guys, in fact, we played a lot of basketball. We just used to cross the river and get to the basketball court. We played a lot of basketball during the off time when we were at school, and so on. And, so that was our experience, basically. But we did produce, as was indicated, a lot of national players: Chaucer Doctruve, Roy Doctruve, Jeffrey Edmonds, Brian Hamilton. Even guys like Red Bull. Red Bull actually at one time lived in Greens Lane. In fact, they rented before Josette and them parents built their building. People like Red Bull used to live on that lot. And these guys went on. In fact, you were asking about national players in basketball. Red Bull was one of the national players. I think he played for Cardinals in basketball. So we produce a lot of national players, and I can't recall all the people in terms of netball, but we had formidable ladies in the Goodwill area, not necessarily Greens Lane, who played a lot of netball, and you had even guys like Brinsley Charles and so on who lived in Solomon Lane at the time. Those guys were close associates, So we did make a very big contribution in terms of the landscape of sports, sporting activities.
I want to bring in Josette, obviously. I mean, I said earlier, to be able to strengthen the ties that bind you, as people, Greenal people, thereby fostering community cohesion. It's a remarkable achievement. But Josette, what I want from you, take us back to when you were growing up, some of your fondest memories, bring in some names as well, because we want to get a sense of what, the community was like in terms of the people themselves. What was happening in the shops, were there shops at that time? So apart from all the sports that we spoke about, what again was happening in Greenal, that really bound the community together?
Okay, my parents, they had the business in Fonkole. So I never, very, very seldom, I would go to any shop in the area because, right, because we had our own shop. I played netball, but this was for the school, Convent High School, and also I played for the fire station, netball and volleyball. But within the circle, we did not have that, privilege like what
So you were a sheltered child, you're at your home and you very strict home or what?
Oh, very strict. That is why they know everybody more than me. And that's the same thing with Tasha. The street was not for us. My father, and the things he would say, don't go at people's home. At the time, he's not saying why, but it's just that don't go. And especially if you figure it's lunchtime, do not go at a person when you figure it's lunch or dinner. So he was a very strict man.
Good time to go.
Yeah, and I remember when there were was hurricanes, and then maybe there was no water, we would go down to the shortcut, and you know where the shortcut
and
is?
The shortcut was where we have this link road now.
Yes, it's no, not there.
Lower down?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Murphy's Lane and Greens Lane.
Mm-hmm. Right above
right
the
in the
riverside
corner.
apartments.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yes, and up to now, people there's still a passage. That's where people go.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in the time of school, there were lots. There were not buses to go to school. So that you see everybody passing in that area. John go to the it reaches to the river side.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But apart from that, I find the guys had more. Yes, they did more. They would come together, and there was a certain place across from our house where Washby and all the gang would be there
under the tambourine tree.
Under the tambourine tree. I never know what they were saying, but sometimes I used to smell something.
So they were not Joseph, I give us this story, man. Of course you were a sheltered child, but tell us about this vibe as a young girl, beautiful young girl, and the guy saying, give us a sense of that community aspect of it.
Oh my gosh. There was nothing more than, but even when I go to school, everybody took me to school, my brother, and sometimes pick me up. We come home. There was someone I saw playing his guitar and singing. I'll always try to want to hear the song. I can't remember the name. So really,
I want a little story, man. Let me get something to laugh about. No.
What happened, man?
Let me say something there.
Right, come.
In relation to the same little shortcut they're talking about, it's only when I became an adult I knew the word shortcut, because it was always Shascot.
Yes.
It was always Shascot for me.
Yes.
Yeah. And we had that Shascot there behind the lane by Aranchi and them going down to the apartments by the low blocks there. And that's where we were regularly. We used to play cricket there. But another distinct thing in Greenal was that discipline and that family oriented kind of growing up, because we had policemen like my father. We had the manager of DBS, Jeff Charles. We had like Ninian Maria, businessmen. So we had others like Raymond Eunice, some important and strict people. And whilst we were running around playing all sports, we had to be disciplined. We had to behave ourselves. Because either of those persons, if they found us falling short of what they expect from us, they could hold us and give us a whipping. And I couldn't go and tell my mother and father that Raymond Eunice or anybody beat me. Why would they beat me? Something I did wrong. So I had to take my beating and go home smiling. So there was that kind of family upbringing of everybody. Where everybody was looked out for each other, and we had that sense of, as I said, sense of discipline. And all our sports, we when we used to play Cowboy Mesha State, and I was one of the coward ones. Because I couldn't understand those guys. We used to, when we used to kidnap fellas, there's a particular telephone post there, right on Federation Drive and Canal Lane, where right in the bottom of that telephone post, there was an ant's nest there of what they used to call it tack, those kind of big black ants. And one time they tied a guy there on that telephone post. They captured him. My team captured him and they tied him there. And I seen the ants starting to walk up. Now in those days, as a little boy, we're not wearing, it's only what pants we have. We don't have any. We were not.
That's what I wanted, Manny Bear. That's it. Tell me.
We're not blessed with underwear. So when those ants start walking up the fella foot, I know where they were going. So when we tied the guy, we ran away. But my home was just about 30 meters away from there. So when I looked out, I saw the guy and I saw him think. So I ran back there and I untied him because I realized the ants was approaching this area. So I ran back there and I untied him and I ran home. Because if my team knew it's me that's on time, it's trouble. So I untie him and then...
Now they know.
No, yeah, well, they can know now. So we had a lot of fun. We played all kind of different sports, and it was really enjoyable. Growing up. So again, that's why we said that we had to have that reunion to try and reminisce and bring back people that we haven't seen for many years, and we expect that in this reunion we will see many persons who have given their commitment to be there. I mean, that's why we planned it just before the carnival, when people would be coming in, so we can kill two birds with one stone. So we are hoping that we can have a real great reunion and bring back memories of our growing up days.
That's what I mentioned. Let me say a very special good morning to, of course, Mr. Pecker himself.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning to you, Pecker.
Michael. Pecker was an integral man in Greenal for some time.
And then Carl Kofi James also mentions he was an original Greenal member as well. Scary James at 14 Canal Lane.
Yeah.
So yes. Carl Kofi James, good morning to you. All the original Greenals. Hey, brother, good morning. Mr. Ofa, good morning to you as well. Part of the Greenal community. And all the others who are now wanting to be part of the Greenal community, good morning to you as well. Everybody starts saying, I was in Greenal too.
Nigel, a lot of stories on Facebook there about Greenal. A lot of stories, seriously.
Yes, a lot of stories. And you guys can go back and read the comments on the YouTube and the Facebook page. You will see as a whole conversation and people who haven't seen each other for so long talking to each other there.
And that's the beauty of reunions.
How they grew up and when they grew up in Greenal and and so on. So you can go back and look at those comments.
Yes, I think
Before
Natasha was saying something.
Yeah, I wanted to say something.
That's
Sorry.
be happening. Yes, I want. You want to say something?
No, I was saying I think Natasha wanted to say something.
Yeah,
so let's take up in Nigel.
Yeah, before we get into our reunion activities, because we haven't touched that yet, I just wanted to say two things. One of the privileges of, getting together various generations, we get to know a lot of things, a lot of stories, a lot of interesting stories like what Billy shared. But while Billy is telling us about the stories and the running Kawat and under the tree and so forth, I found out that Billy was one of those who could not step out without socks and shoes. So he was not barefoot running Kawat. He was always wearing dress.
Say itself.
Yes. And a lot more exciting stories, But I also, as we spoke about sports and we're in the season of Carnival, I would really like us to shout out to our Calypsonians. Greenal City was home to many prominent Calypsonians, starting with Lord Breaker, that we all know. And at number 6, I believe, Greens Lane, where Duncan Stowe lived, his brother, the Saint, the original Saint, who is the father of son of the Saint. That is where all Calypsonians gathered to practice. So there are a number of Calypsonians who hail from, Hixie. Yes, I was just getting to the modern ones, Hixie. But back there from the Saint and all of those of the time gathered in Greens Lane as friends of Greenal. And we have Hixie, we have 2 junior Calypso monarchs, Duncan Stowe and Gordon Henderson. Some people might not know that. Well, I sang Calypso myself, published an album. My 2 children got involved in Calypso. One who placed second in the Junior Monarch. The other one is the reigning extempo Calypso Monarch of St. Lucia. And so in Greenal, there's a strong Calypso history, and that people will get more the opportunity to discover more about that during the events that are coming up for Greenal.
Okay, I just want to add.
Most definitely. Yes, yes, go ahead.
Right. In Greens Lane, I might miss somebody. We had Jeff Charles. Everybody knows Jeff Charles. And we had Swinburne Augustine. He was working at DBS. Rodney James. He was a little boy.
All DBS broadcasters.
Yes. James Rodney.
Yes.
Okay.
Duncan Stowe and myself. And during that time, I think Swinley, Steinberg, Duncan, and myself were working at DBS. It was, and I didn't know, right?
Yeah, there's a strong history between DBS and Greenal. That's what we discovered in our research that we did. There's a strong history between DBS and Greenal.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes. And as we mentioned, Swinburne Augustine, it's important to know that at our reunion, he's our guest speaker. He's a well-known scientist who's played a leading role in combating COVID on the level of the government level in the United States.
Former guest on Connect to the Dots as well.
And he will be coming down especially to deliver a keynote address. And just for our listeners to know, as I said, we drew up a list of 400 names, and we all made suggestions, who would like to come to feature, to inspire the people. And out of all the names that were proposed, we selected Dr. Swinburne Augustine. Okay. I just want to shout out also to a former Prime Minister, O.J. Serafin, who I'm sure is listening, with his wife Lily, who will be part of this reunion. And
that's your uncle?
My uncle, and many others.
And Lily, his wife, she was living in Greens Lane.
Okay, but let's look at the activities. You haven't spoken about the activities.
Yes,
what is the theme, by the way? I'm not sure if we mentioned the theme, though.
The theme of the reunion is celebrating the journey, aspiring to greater heights. Okay. So that says it all. We're celebrating those who have been there, and we're putting all our efforts in to aspire to greater heights. And Josette could tell us a little bit more of the program of activities that are coming up.
Nigel, we'll have to fit in ourselves somewhere, because we have had a lot of Greenal guests. We have promoted Goodwill so many times on Connecting the Dots, and Nigel is nowhere.
And not one of the guests they have told us, well, all you minutes is okay, or you can be part of it. But that's
it's
all
coming,
right.
It's coming. It's not the end of the program yet.
Go ahead, Josette.
Okay, to begin with, we have an official luncheon. And some people say, so a whole year you taking to do this? But so many things are coming in, and I'm glad that we did it that way, or else, at the end of it, it would be such a rush. And then we also had an official We have been promoting. We Greenal.
We had the fundraiser.
Oh yeah, we had the fundraiser, and then we have to start again with this because there were little issues that came up. But anyway, the program itself is from Thursday, February 20, and also ending on Sunday, 23rd. So Thursday, it will be 7 to 11 p.m., where we do meet and greet and games night. So they're all different types of, that is for... you'll talk about it. The cost of it's... How much is it?
It's $50.
$50.
Yes, and $25 for children.
Yeah, and $25 for children. Then Friday, 21st, awards dinner with live performances. $250 for the adults, and children half, which will be $125. Saturday, 22, neighborhood outreach. That is where we come together and go through the lanes just to meet people and just see who we are and what we're doing. Sunday, it ends with a church service, which would be on the 23rd of February at the Alphonsus Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, on the 15th of February, we will be doing a cleanup and beautification. So we'll have people in the community coming to volunteer to just clean up the place, cut the grass, whatever. And even sometimes, if some people need any need they have, and we can help, we will do.
Yeah. And a very big date, we'd like people to remember, is Saturday, the 1st of February. 2 things are happening for Greenal. One, it is the start of our history trivia in collaboration with MO News. As of the 1st all the way to the 20th, every day a history question will be raised on the page with instructions as to how you participate, and we're inviting well-wishers and listeners to log on Facebook, participate in that trivia, and at the end of the 20 days, the person with the most correct answers gets to win a prize to Guadeloupe or Martinique of their choice, and we will be revealing the winner at our games night on the 20th. On that same day, the 1st of February, we will be having a sales of ticket promo in front of Bullseye Pharmacy on the Federation Drive. We're inviting participants to come out to get your tickets for the event, and you get a free t-shirt if you purchase on that day. So that promo is only for the 1st of February. And those who are overseas, who are coming down, who are not here yet, you just have to connect with us on Facebook, and you can reserve your tickets, and you have the opportunity to benefit from that promo as well.
Interesting. By the way, on the live, Josette, someone is asking you a question. Jennifer Fidel Johnson is saying, Josette, you remember when Mr. Writer rolled down the shortcut when he was on his way to teach at the convent? He had to stop at Astafans to buy a shirt. You remember that, Josette?
Yes, that and much more that we would want to talk about, Jennifer Fidel.
But
yes. But so she was one of, because they usually come to my home,
Okay.
The good girls. So.
All right. Yes, Washi.
Yeah, just talking about the shortcut.
A lot of things happen in the shortcut.
Yeah. It was a very important area for us, right? It was a quick link to Roseau. And for some of us who went to grammar school, and even those of us who went back to play sports in the afternoon, we didn't go across the bridge. We just, in fact, at that time, people would normally put stones across the river, and you jump the stones to get across to Windsor Park.
Just take a pin a while. Someone is calling. It may be someone from Goodwill. Hello? Yes, hello? Hello? Okay, the person I'm not sure. Yes, go ahead.
Can I get onto the program?
You are on. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm on. Okay. This is Imani calling, eh?
Yes, sir. Ras Imani Show.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I can boast myself to as a very original member of Greenal, even though they term me as friends of Greenal. But Bill will tell you how early I've been associated with Greenal. In fact, his home was my home. His parents were my parents. So I'm very close with Greenal for a long, long time. And one of the original members. I must be used to play a lot of cricket and very, very good cricket. And I'm an original member. But what I want to say is that when Billy celebrated his 50th anniversary of umpiring, the day after I called Wadik, I told Wadik, hey, Wadik, you know we have not done enough for Billy. We should do something more.
That's right.
Then I called Curtis Matthew, I told him the same thing, we should do something more for Billy.
Wow.
And when I continued thinking about it, I told myself, hey, we need a voice about that. Because my voice may not be strong enough for that. So I went to Andy Carter's home yesterday. And I told Andy of that same thing. And Andy said, but here there's a reunion coming up. I said, wow, that's great. Because what I thought was, when I went to Andy, is that I thought that Greenal would be the most appropriate organization, institution to reveal what I want to suggest. And what I'm suggesting is that we should do more for Billy's name by maybe two things. In terms of priority, the first thing I'd say is that the Winter Park Stadium could be changed to the Billy Dockshow Sports Stadium. Let us get out from that Winter Park name, because it's too long referred as a colonial name.
Okay.
And just like Darren Sam in St. Lucia, Kurani Thomas in Grenada, the athlete in Grenada, who has stadiums from the name, I think that should be done for Billy. If that can't happen, the second suggestion I'll say is that the road, that link road behind the stadium, could be called the Billy Dockshow Link Road. But in terms of priority, I'd go for the stadium first. If the stadium can't done, then the road. So that's what I want to say, that his name can be, because he's really one of the legacy of Greenal, one of the high points of Greenal, for what his name has done for Dominica. Both as an umpire, and even more importantly, the association with KLR4 that caused her to run to get that gold medal, which put Dominica more in the spotlight.
Wow.
So that's what I want to suggest to the committee, that they could take that initiative and move forward with it. Thank you.
Nigel, let's ask them for a space on the committee by default. So we'll help spearhead that. We'll help in that efforts, Nigel. So we have to find ourselves.
Yes,
we're begging you, Natasha. We're begging you.
Let me say something, Ivona, please. I would like to respond to two persons on Facebook, but before that, in response to the caller, we really appreciate that call, because as we mentioned, we have an award ceremony. So, of course, certain initiatives will be taken. But I just also want to say that a lot of people call and they talk about Billy and his achievements and so forth. But to me, the most important part of it is the man that he is. Billy, a person who is so busy, who was in Paris for the Olympics and all of that, even during that time, Billy kept in touch with Greenal, with our committee. A very humble man, generous in terms of his knowledge, in terms of his, whatever he offers. And I must say at this point, in addition to him and all what he has brought to the committee, we have the support of his entire family and his entire Big Edge Financial Express family, who have been there for us as headline sponsor of the reunion, and his wife Antonelia, who I can call anytime for advice or to share ideas and so forth. And we really appreciate Billy and the generosity of his time and his presence with us on Greenal. So as far as Greenal goes, when it comes to the awarding and recognizing our greats, don't worry, we're taking care of that. Now, one person asked us to repeat the dates. So let me just quickly repeat the dates, because I see the time is running out. On the 15th of February, we are having our cleanup project within the community of Goodwill. On Thursday, the 20th of February, we are having our meet and greet games night at the Goodwill Parish Hall. The following day, Friday, the 21st of February.
Natasha, very quickly, that meet and greet, is that open to everybody?
It's open to everybody.
What's happening?
all of Greenal and our friends of Greenal. You know, the idea of we totally embrace our friends of Greenal. We recognize though, and we'd like you to recognize that Greenal remains the nucleus of goodwill, but we are open to all of our friends. And we invite you to come out on the 1st of February in front of Bullseye Pharmacy, Federation Drive. Get your tickets. Connect with us on Facebook, Greenal City Reunion 2025, for any information that you may need. And it is open.
And the meet and greet that Thursday, February 28th. What time it starts?
It starts 7 p.m. at the Goodwill Parish Hall. Okay, so we have music, we have food and drink, we have a lot of exciting games, you know, the traditional games that were played back then. The children are invited. We have a section for children to have fun as well. So come and meet those who are coming, especially for the reunion, persons you might not have seen for decades. It's an opportunity to come and mingle and, you know, have a good time. The following day, Friday, the 21st of February, our awards dinner gala, a very formal event where we'll be honoring certain members of Greenal in several categories. We have our legends we are going to honor. We have a number of lifetime achievement awardees. We'll be recognizing stalwarts as well as business landmarks within the community. So on that night, we also have an exciting number of artists, entertainers who are coming. You know, as I mentioned, Styler Rock. We have a special presentation that will be sent in from Gordon Henderson. We have a friend of Greenal, Colin XP, who is coming in to share a moment with us. A number of Calypsonians and others. Even
that's been held where will that
at
event
the Goodwill Parish Hall. You know, the Goodwill Parish Hall is very significant for us because, as you know, it connects with Church Lane, the lane in Canal Lane on one side, and also with Greens Lane. So almost all of the individuals were raised in Greenal from the 50s, 60s, 70s. There's a connection with the parish hall and with the St. Alphonsus Church. And that's why it was very important for us to include that landmark in our reunion, and that's where it will be taking place. So we have all of that coming together.
That's the Friday, right?
That's the Friday. That's the Friday. So 20th, 21st, the 22nd, the Saturday, we are going out within the community to do a care package outreach, where a lot of our generous collaborators have sent in items that we'll deliver to families, you know, those in need. That's what we're doing on the Saturday, the 22nd. And we're concluding with our church service on Sunday, the 23rd. So the important dates, February 1st, look out for us. February 15th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd.
Interesting 4 days of activities for the Greenal reunion. Somebody mentioned there that they would have loved to have seen a little sporting activity like you guys used to have back then. Maybe you should have organized a little small goal competition.
That was considered, yes,
you used to. It's just people saying all kinds of stuff on the page, you know, just throwing out.
But as we said, it's a first. It's a first. It's a first. So
yes, Washby.
Yes.
Yeah, on that question, I mean, we considered that I am Brian Hamilton and myself are primarily responsible for the sports night, and in the early days of planning, I was suggesting that we go back to Lindo Park and maybe engage in what was being suggested, a little football or a little cricket. But we also recognize that many of us are in our, I don't want to say twilight days, you know, but we're not spring chicken anymore.
Like that.
And we want to avoid any mishaps of a swollen knee or a broken bone and some kind of thing, and we don't have the resources to fly anybody to Martinique or Guadeloupe or anything. So we try to leave that out and to have a more relaxed kind of evening with the meet and greet, where it is primarily bringing back that camaraderie together. And we will be engaging in a lot of dominoes, drafts, you know, games we would normally play at home and that kind of thing. So, but maybe some other time, and you never know, you know, if persons come down and they figure, well, we should maybe go and have a sweat, we probably will look to see how that can be fitted. But we tried not to have a situation where we could have some of our members being injured and that kind of thing. The focus is on trying to make sure that people are wrong and can enjoy the spirit, you know.
I think someone from Goodwill is on the line. Let's see. Hello.
Good
Yes,
morning,
hello.
good
Yes,
morning.
let's go
Good
ahead.
morning. Yes. I don't have plenty of time. I'll just.
Yeah,
I listening to the guys. I am not. I wasn't part of Greenal, but part of the activities that used to go on in the 60s and early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Billy can remember. We used to have a cricket league. We had Upper and Lower Goodwill, we had Pottersville, and we had those guys. I played with Bull and Scobie Lawrence, and at the time Chester, Billy, and Roy at the time. We also had Dr. Gregory Robin, and a guy who used to call Dorito, we used to call him Dorito.
Dorito, yeah.
You know, and I remember those guys. I remember them very well. The teams we used to play with, you know, especially on a Sunday, as Washburn said, after church. If by 9 o'clock you reach on the Goodwill Savannah and you're not there, you cannot get a pick. I remember those times very well. I am not from Goodwill. I lived in Goodwill from 1967, but I was acquainted with all the Greenhouse activities. Okay. And I know many of the guys. Josette, you also had that man who used to have a band, Mr. Polido, in Greensley.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they can remember that.
Yes,
Voltage 4.
Ignition
Voltage
band.
4, that's right. That's where Gordon started.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Voltage 4. I can remember that. We had Chris Serafin and all those guys, you know. So, and Polido, who used to drum for Gaylords at one time, also came from that group.
Okay.
So, you know, that is
and you also had the blind guy, Starrett
lived in that building downstairs, Mr. Polido.
And those guys went on to organize the Gaylords Power Union.
And all those guys used to be down there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Correct. Right on point, my friend.
Nice vibes, eh?
Yeah, so the activities look like everything is in place, everything's ready to roll for the reunion. Any challenges you guys are facing right now? Everything is ready to roll.
Well, everything is ready to roll, but of course, you know, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to put something like that together. And I must mention that we started off as a committee, each of us making a financial contribution to put, you know, things out there. A lot of support from Big Edge, as I said, our headline sponsor, but also we are open to donations because, you know, it takes a lot to put together such an event. And we'll be sharing on Facebook all the information where anyone who wants to make a donation, you can send in, you know, via to our account. And we are also asking the public to support our sales of t-shirts. We have t-shirts at $45 a t-shirt, a lovely green t-shirt. We're not wearing our t-shirts today, as Ivona mentioned, because of the green screen effect, but we have created a logo, we have a lovely t-shirt, and we'd be very appreciative if participants, listeners could come out, purchase your t-shirt, purchase your tickets, and be part of this celebration for Greenal and Friends.
Okay, all right. Let's take the final caller before we end the program. Hello, somebody from Goodwill probably. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, watch me.
Yes.
Watch me. Good afternoon.
Good day.
Good morning. You cannot leave Astor Park and Old Trafford also. Old Trafford and Astor Park was right there. In fact, a Goodwill, and where the Astor and Astor Park only come into a crash. You're not forgetting your old school. Remember Astor Park, remember Old Trafford.
You're not watching?
Yeah, well, it was a bit muted, but I think he was
Astor
talking
Park,
about
Old
Astor
Trafford,
Park, that
yes.
is closer to the Pentecostal church around that area.
Yeah, that's the Savannah we use only. The Dallas use the Savannah all the time. Always have every afternoon, every morning, weekend, morning. You know, old school, you know, don't forget that. Never leave your old school at the back, my brother.
Yeah. We try not to forget anybody.
But you forget that one.
All right. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but I just wanted to take the opportunity to stress that, and again, this is why we're not just having a reunion activities. I want to focus a little bit on the community aspect of it. And this is why, for sustainability, and continuation, we felt we should establish a foundation. So yes, we are having these activities, but the idea, the cost incurred is not to generate any profit for any person or persons. The whole focus is to give back to the community. There are a couple projects which we have in mind, some of which we were not able to implement during that specific reunion activities. But we are looking at things like that. We have the workshop for, well, it used to be called the workshop for the blind, but it has to do with the
Abilities Unlimited now.
Right, the office of the physically challenged people, and they are right in the Greenal space. So we want to be able to adopt that kind of organization as we develop more programs and activities and can generate resources. The idea is to continue to have that kind of community approach in terms of what the foundation is about. So we want to stress that that is an important aspect of focus of the organization.
All right, so we're coming to the end. In fact, we have already run out of time. So we're going to get some closing remarks from all of you as we end, just about a minute in terms of the closing remarks. But let me just say from the onset, even before we end, that I'm very happy that we decided to bring you all on. I'm looking at what we can do with you again, even prior to the week of activities, and so we can discuss that after. But let's hear from you, Josette, as we end.
Well, I must say a thank you to Ivona, Nigel, and DBS Radio. It's been a journey, and they were, sometimes we were thinking how we could get money. But anyway, this has worked out, so we have this. And I would like to say there are certainly people that we left out, like Davidson Rivera, very much a musician, and he lived on the same place. So let me just talk to the listeners. Even though you're not living in Greens Lane, you can be our friend. So that's what we say, Greenal City and friends. You can go to us on our social media. That is
Greenal City Reunion 2025 on Facebook.
Okay. And maybe we could even leave a number in case you want to call us.
Email address, as well. And maybe we could just give the email address, greenaldominica2025@gmail.com.
Okay.
So people can get in touch with us via email or directly on Facebook. And as I said, look out for MO News from February 1st.
All right, so we have to end. We really have to end. We are way past time. By the way, Greg Banis is on, Nigel, our good friend. He listened to me, so he's on.
Yes. And Derek Peters, of course.
A lot of people are on.
Yes.
Well, we really have to end.
Thank you. And a quick shout out to the Greenal City Next Generation, those who are there supporting us, Sasha Maxwell, Alonso Doctrove, and Johnny Shillingford, all of them who are assisting us and giving the generosity of their time. Thank you, Greenal Next Generation, and thank you those who've been there before.
All right.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing everybody.
Billy, quickly.
Yeah, I don't want to thank Ivona and Nigel for giving us the opportunity. And though we try to get all our names together, somebody might have slipped through the cracks. So if anybody can reach out to us and bring back memories or identify somebody whom we missed out, we'll be happy to incorporate that person, because there were so many names, attributed to Greenal. So probably somebody might have slipped through the cracks. So feel free. We want to embrace everybody, even those who are not specifically in Greens Lane and Canal Lane, but from the Goodwill area. We welcome you, we love you, and we want to invite you to our reunion.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Well, let me thank all of you for joining us. We have run out of time already, but I really enjoyed this time with you all. It's really a good effort. It's seriously, it's remarkable. And you have a good chairperson, you have a good committee. And I wish you all the best as you continue to connect. Not just Greens Lane and Canal Lane, but Goodwill benefits, the entire Goodwill community benefits from that initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel.
Nigel? We'll do it again
All right,
next week.
thanks for connecting. As always, we'll do it again next week.
Okay, all right then.
Data to keep you connected with your family and friends. Download the My Digicel app to activate your new Prime Ultra bundle or visit any of our retail stores today. Digicel, keeping you better connected.